Personally, I really understand why people buy new cars, but there are some great reasons to consider the used car market too. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Recently, I uploaded a video that explains in detail the used car buying process. Today, I will be listing the pros and cons of buying used and comparing it with the pros and cons of buying new. Let's start with buying a brand new car. There are some very valid reasons to consider purchasing a car straight out of the box. For example, you aren't buying someone else's problems. The car only has the livery mileage on it. There are some options that you can specify and truly customize the car to your liking. In most cases, there are no maintenance costs for at least the first year or 10,000 kilometers. All wear and tear parts are brand new. In most cases, the manufacturer will offer a warranty as well as a service plan that covers fluids, filters and spark plugs, or a maintenance plan that covers almost everything in your car with the exception of tires and a windshield. Other things you benefit from is that new car smell, no dents or scratches on the bodywork or on the interior, and no hidden accident damage behind resprayed panels. All these factors combined adds to your peace of mind. This peace of mind does demand a price, from a couple of different angles as well. The first and highest price you will pay is the actual price of the car. New cars are expensive. The cheapest car in South Africa, with the exception of the Bajaj, is the Suzuki Espresso at 149,900 Rand. The next price you will have to pay comes in the form of depreciation. It indicates the drop in value of your car. Just by driving your car off the showroom floor can decrease its value by as much as 20%. And the first year of a car's life is the space where it receives the steepest depreciation. The tricky thing about it is that it can differ significantly based on what make and model a car is. From what I can tell, the more popular the car, the better it holds on to its value. Volkswagen and Toyota models seems to hold their value very well because they are well sought after in the used car market. Other manufacturers aren't that lucky though. The one manufacturer that flummoxes me the most is Volvo. They make excellent, reliable cars but suffer terrible depreciation. One other specific model that you might want to be wary of buying is a new Jeep Grand Cherokee because, for reasons I cannot understand, they don't hold on to their value. The next thing to keep in mind is that warranty and service or maintenance plan isn't necessarily a given, so be sure to do your homework first before purchasing. Those nifty options come at an extra price, and that price is excluded from the trade-in price when it comes time to sell it. Lastly, you can always buy a lemon. The same can be said when buying a used car, but used cars come with their very own perks. For example, the car has already lost its initial value, saving you a lot of money. Depreciation becomes your new best friend because there are some astonishing bargains out there. For instance, the aforementioned Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Ford Kuga. With our 2015 Chrysler 300C with 110,000 kilometers on the clock, we paid 210,000 Rand. And that was when the car was only 4 years old. That is a ridiculously good price. But I will circle back to that in a bit. There are some other great bargains out there. Another thing that is great about the used car market is the sheer variety. Even if your budget doesn't stretch beyond 60,000 Rand, there is a host of vehicles available for you. In newer used cars, as long as they haven't broken any contract rules, you still have a balance of warranty and factory service or maintenance plan, reducing the cost of ownership by a considerable margin. If the car is out of warranty, you don't have to take it to expensive dealerships to have it fixed, saving you even more money. Lastly, your insurance will even be cheaper because the car isn't as expensive as it was when it was new. Like all things though, the used car market does have its own caveats. I think the biggest fear people have is that they might buy a lemon that somebody else sold. This is rarely the case, but there is a chance of that happening. The next thing is just general dishonesty. Dealerships are companies that want to make maximum profit off of their products. Private sellers are people who want the maximum price for their cars. Now, dealerships have tons of rules they need to abide by to ensure honest dealings. Most of these dealerships abide by these rules, but others don't. So be sure to do your homework first so that you don't need to rely on a sales representative for any advice. Speaking of which, do your homework. These bargains require a bit of know-how from you, especially if you want to lower your risk. I've made a video of a comprehensive list of tips to help you with your next used car purchase. The link to that video is in the description box below. Buying privately can be a risky affair too. At the risk of sounding a bit paranoid, there are crooks out there. So if you are a first-time buyer, I would suggest buying from a dealership. That way you can confirm the legitimacy of the establishment first. Another thing to keep in mind is that not all parts are new, which means that some parts would need replacement imminently. So set aside some cash to cover any unforeseen repairs. Lastly, you can't really buy a used car without inspecting it and test driving it first. That's because every used car is unique. Our 2015 Chrysler was for sale in Johannesburg while we were in the Western Cape. The facelift is extremely rare here, so Michael and I decided to just risk it and go for it. Even though I had a video call with the sales representative who said that there's absolutely no accident damage, when the car arrived, the bumper was resprayed and misaligned and the front PDC wasn't working. When we opened up the bonnet, we noticed that the bumper was fastened with pop rivets. Thankfully, that was the only thing wrong with the car, and fixing the PDC was only about 1,000 Rand from an auto electrician. We were very lucky. Do not buy a car before test driving it and inspecting it first. Now, these negatives might be enough to scare most people off. Don't let it though. Permit me to explain why. For the price of a new entry-level Suzuki Espresso, you can have a 2020 Peugeot 108 1-litre active. Or a 2020 Fiat Panda 0.9-litre turbo lounge. You can also have a 2020 VW Polo Vivo 1.4 Trendline, or a Renault Tribo 1-litre Dynamique. All these cars have less than 65,000 kilometers on their clock, and they are only 1 year old. Go a bit older, but still new, and you can move up a class. For example, a 2017 Citroën DS3 VTI 120 style, a Ford B-Max 1-litre turbo Trend, or a smart 4.4 1.5 Passion. Now, these older cars have their own drawbacks, particularly the cost of ownership during their lifetime, but it is a great way to see what bargains are out there. Also, you can't deny the value prospect of a car that is 1 or 2 years old. You also have a third option, a compromise if you will. Dealerships offer cars to customers that they can test drive and demonstrate. These cars are called demos. Dealerships sell these cars after a relatively short amount of time at greatly discounted prices, mostly because they aren't brand new anymore. But they are nearly new and they are well maintained. One thing to keep in mind when considering a demo is that it never technically had an owner. It was a demonstration. And as most of us know, people tend to take better care of things they own than those they are loaned. Still, demos are a great middle ground between the new and used car market. Ultimately, though, it is a matter of personal taste. I am not ashamed to say that I am a sucker for a bargain, a term that isn't really used anymore in the new car market. That is, unless you include the new offerings from GWM and Evolve. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye!